What's going on, everybody? Ever since the Angelina Jolie character creation, it's come a few times. Hey, why not Maleficent? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, why not Maleficent? Why didn't I try that? Kind of banging myself over the head about that a little bit. And I was like, I'll go ahead and put my hand to it and see what happens. Got a Canary, starts with the horns. I mean, it should be doable, right? And from top to bottom, I ran into nothing but problems, and I could not find workarounds for them. So I'm going to share with you what I've seen here. For those of you trying to create one for yourself, who the first thing you thought when you saw a Canary was, oh, Maleficent, For those of you trying to do this, maybe you can find a workaround, but I'll show you the problems that I found. And I couldn't find a solution. I did try. Starting with the horns, the only two that resemble her horns, right off the top, come with these braids that in no way, shape, or form resemble her face, and there's no way to remove them. I was thinking, well, later on in the movie, she becomes angry Maleficent, and she puts the cap on, right? So if you take the hair out of the picture, you might, get a little more resemblance there, but the two horns that kind of look like hers, they don't have a bald option. So I was at a loss. I could not find a workaround for that. And then I came down to the brows, and the brows were a little better, but her brows start a little farther apart, at the bridge of the nose, and they arch up and outward, starting low and arching out high. The only ones that were close to her shape were a little shaggy, in my opinion, and the ones that were more refined, like hers, started in the wrong place, and I couldn't get them low enough in the middle. I did try raising the size of the brow where you can actually raise the arch in the middle, and that helped a little bit, but honestly, I didn't find one that I liked, that I was comfortable with. Like I say, the shape of a couple of them seemed to be right, but they were way too shaggy, too masculine, I guess you could say. So yeah, I couldn't find anything to settle on. So that was another fail. Her ears, they tend to slope downward instead of more pointing up like hers, but at least I could get them more or less the right size and put them in the right place. So that was kind of a win. I mean, at least they're pointed, right? That helped a little bit, so I shared the settings with that. Her cheekbones are her other really prominent feature in her face. They're really exaggerated. They're really wide. You can see in that picture below, they jut out, okay? And you can get something of that shape in the slider settings. You can get that, but the problem is the cheeks aren't shallow enough to make them really stick out like they're supposed to, in my opinion. But at least it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was close enough to where you could at least see the semblance there, right? The nose wasn't bad. It was really similar, but up there between the eyes, at the top of the bridge of the nose, there is some stuff going on there that's not as smooth and subtle as Angelina Jolie's, and there's no way to get out that furrowed brow. That crease that's right there between the eyes, I could not find a way to work that out, no matter what I did with the bridge of the nose, without deviating from the nose completely and making it look off. But it's at least close enough. It's petite, straight, narrow. It's at least close as far as that goes. The lips, the shape is almost right, but if you notice, the corners of her lips tend to angle up a little more than the default setting here. And regardless of how I set thickness of the lips and the shape of the lips, the corners still went down a little bit, and that kind of angry thing going on there. But nothing much I could do with that. Also, I made them a little maybe more narrow than hers would be, so you could widen those some. But as far as the upturned outside corners of the lips, I didn't see a way to actually adjust that. It's not in the character creation. Her jaw was a problem with me. She has a really wide, strong jaw, almost a square jaw, as you can see in that picture below. And if you widen the jaw with the slider settings, you also tend to round out the cheeks, and you take away from the sharpness of the cheekbones. Big problem. Those prominent cheekbones, as in contrast with the cheeks, is part of what makes her face as Maleficent, and I couldn't find a way around that. But I did the best that I could with making the jaw wider and trying to fit her face. And I said, well, we'll just go into actual gameplay with as close as I could get here and see what we've got. And I wasn't happy in any way, shape, or form. I was like, that's maybe not the worst looking Canary in the world, but it doesn't resemble her. I could not find workarounds for those things. If you guys can, awesome, but that's just sharing my mistakes, hoping some of you guys can learn from them and maybe come up with something else. But either way, it was worth a try. Thought I'd share this with you guys. Appreciate you watching, and until the next one, y'all take care. Bye-bye.